Play hard and love big radio podcast. Inspiration on your station with the show broadcast. You don't want to miss it. You gotta listen. Good vibes and stories for you to go the distance. Bringing inspiration, stories that shine. Helping you connect heart and mind align. Live your best life, lift up and soar. Fueled by kumquat energy, we give you more. Play hard and love big.
Yeah, like I don't not believe in it. But like it's not. It's hard. Okay. Here's what I believe is a tough word, but here's what I believe is that some people have this clairvoyance gift connection, and then a lot of people fake it. You know, like I feel like it's real and it exists for some people, and for some people, you know, and I could be wrong, obviously. But you know how that goes.
I'm the same, man. I think some people think they have it and they're trying to like maybe expand upon it or go deeper into it, or maybe they just have like a little bit.
Right. And they took all the classes or whatever, and they're doing it, and it's like no shame. Like, yeah, do it. But then there's some people, like sort of souls out there, that are just like, it's sort of like they have to do it no matter what, because they're in connection or in flow with some level of the ether that I'm not. You know, then I'm definitely not. Like, I have good intuition about people. I have good people intuition. Like I don't know if it's probably always been that way. Like my spidey sense, for lack of a better word, has got me out of some pretty gnarly situations in the past. Like actually, random story. I was in Austin, Texas, and a really good friend out there named Ashley, who's just a wonderful human being. And she was like, "Oh, you got to go see my psychic. You have to go see my psychic." And I know it's different than astrology, it's just psychic. So I went to this random neighborhood sort of outside of Austin, and, you know, she had a house inside of a fence, and inside the fence she had like a camper, and in the camper where she did all this astrology reading. I don't know if it was an Airstream or not, but it gave me Airstream vibes, right? You go into the camper and do your thing. And I mean, like whole crystal ball, like the whole thing, but it was more like ambiance. It's not like she was rubbing the crystal ball like the cartoons when we were kids, like Bugs Bunny, dressed up as a fucking genie somehow, being a psychic. You know, it's not like that. But she gave me this like whole long reading. She's like, "I'm going to send this to you." So I go out. So I Uber. So Ashley dropped me off there, but I was like, "Yeah, no need to pick me up. I don't even know how long the session is going to take. I'll just Uber back to like the main part of Austin." And I was on the corner. It's like her house was on the corner, but behind a big fence. So I'm outside the fence on the corner, waiting, like called an Uber and waited. And then I saw this dude like walking down the sidewalk, and I was like, this dude is up to no good. Like I could feel it like in my bones. Like I'm like, this guy's going to try to rob me. And I think he's armed. Like I just had that sort of intuition. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. So I'm like checking my Uber. Like, I'm like, how fast is this guy getting here? Cause I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, still, I feel like pretty far away. And I'm like, it's like the whole thing is going off, and I'm apprehensive, and like my nerves are heightened, and this guy's kind of walking his hands in his pockets, and I'm like, oh shit. And then listen, I'm not saying this to be any sort of judgmental, but the guy was like Hispanic that was walking toward me. And then at the same time, he's getting closer. He's like less than a block away. And he sort of has this sort of intention in his walk. And just then this car pulls up to the other side of the corner, another Hispanic dude, and he's just stopped there for no reason. And I'm like, they're in this shit together. This guy's going to rob me. He's going to jump in the car. Like I knew it, like Nick, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. And just then, like I look, and all of a sudden my Uber's super closer, and this bro in this Honda Accord comes racing up to my corner. Like I'm just like fast, like way faster than an Uber driver should be driving. And he, you know, rolls on the window. It's like, Dan. I said, yeah. And I just got in, and this guy is like literally 5 steps from me.
He knew.
Like, right. And so
yeah,
I get in the Uber, and I just jumped in the front seat.
Yeah.
Which is also odd.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I think you just saved me from being jacked. And he's like, "Oh man, I got you, bro." Because I'm wearing shorts and see my legs. He goes, "Oh, you military?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Me too. I just got out of the army." He goes, "If they try something," he pulls out a gun. "They try something, I got you, bro." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Huh," like that was like again,
Damn.
like I don't even know why I got on that tangent because like I feel like I read people pretty well, like their intentions, good, bad, like good person, shady person, person pretending to be a good person, like that vibe. I've always had that sort of spidey sense about it,
Yeah.
and have been able to avoid some tragedies in my day.
Dude, that's a good story and a super awesome topic I think to jump into for this episode of the Mindful Dudes with Nick Clark and Dan Nevins here on Play Hard and Love Big Radio. It's been a couple weeks since we got together and chatted, man. But stoked to be back on the horn with you, man.
Heck yeah, brother.
Yep, Mindful Dudes and
Busy
Play Hard.
summer.
Busy ass summer, man. Just like so crazy. I can't even believe like I blink and I'm somewhere else, But I'll say that one thing that's been really cool is that this podcast is getting a lot of traction. Play Hard and Love Big Radio and the Mindful Dude Show were sponsored by Kumquat Energy and Kumquat Hydration. The founder, Mauricio, has been helping us get our word out. We've had amazing guests who have just from being on the show in turn have turned around and surprised us and helped us really get our name out a little bit more. So I'm super excited about all the things that are coming from this and also where we're going with this. It's every time that I get together with you, we have awesome conversations, and that's why I love what you're talking about, just like tuning into your intuition in a way. Like for you, you're like, yeah, I've got a good judge of character and people, right? And I do too. But the spidey senses, like I feel like that really is a connection to intuition. There's a lot of times in my life when my intuition, my gut, God, however you want to say it, is trying to tell me something, and I ignore those things for whatever reason, and they ultimately come back and bite me in the butt, So
100%.
yeah, man. So
Yeah, it's sort of like the character, right? The sort of archetype of the fast talker. You want to believe their intentions are good. And that takes many forms, whether it's like if you're a single guy and like in a relationship, like looking for something, and or vice versa, you're a single woman in a relationship and looking for a guy, and like you want to believe the story they're telling you, or the character that they're portraying themselves to be, but deep down, you know, like something's telling you, like you said, Nick, God, the universe, that I don't think this person is being completely authentic. But then the story is so good, you say like, "Oh, well, like why? Like, I'll risk it this time," and then it always reveals itself to that. You notice that your intuition or the nudge from God, the universe, was real, and hopefully you spare yourself from serious heartache or worse. But I've found that typically my intuition, I can't pinpoint a time that it's lied to me, but I can pinpoint a million times that the story lied.
yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I feel like that's where I'm at constantly is working on trying to get to a place where I am present so that I can let God or my intuition come through. When I'm not present, when I'm not getting enough sleep or drinking too much beer or just not taking care of myself, overworking myself,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like it's almost like there's a wall up around my ability to see and hear things before it happens. Like that's the story you're talking about, I think, right? Like we have a story up, or we're just not open to hear or listen. And then that's typically when I get myself in trouble and I have to backtrack a lot. Um, yeah. So, I mean, would you say that when you're connected to your golf game, your yoga practice, your family, those things that really help you get present, that you're more tuned into your intuition, or are there times you're more tuned in than others?
No, I think you nailed it. Like when I'm taking care of myself and when I'm meditating, when I'm getting enough sleep, when I'm eating well, I don't even necessarily want to say eating well and take care of myself. When I'm happy with the way that I'm living my life, sort of like I'm in balance, whatever that is. Cause it's not like, I don't want to put this thing out there. Like, while I do believe we should always eat right and take care of our bodies and take care of ourselves, I mean, sometimes it's a really almost foreboding goal where you like, where you put too much restriction on yourself. And then, so you're not actually happy. Um, then you're not in balance. So like there's a happy medium where you just feel good about your practices. You feel good, like I'm getting enough sleep, I'm eating well enough, my relationships are harmonious enough, and then you get into flow state a lot more. I know we've talked about flow state before, but like those things I think are more attainable and accessible. So it's not necessarily about like strict, you have to be so, it's like you're either getting this amount of sleep or you're eating exactly this or you're wrong. I don't think anybody should really prescribe to that. I think you should be happy with, and this is what I found for myself, is like when I'm happy with how I'm doing things, it's like my energy channels are opened up to be in more connection with God, with spirit, with the universe, with my intuition, that those, they reveal themselves. But when I'm tired or overworked or etc., then it's not that intuition and those things are closed off, but it's like I'm too frazzled to tune in, and that I can't. Like, so, for instance, the other day, like, as you know, I've been trying to work on my golf game because my daughter's in the golf, and because my daughter's in the golf, my wife is now in the golf. Like, my wife's just sending me golf memes, and I'm like, yeah.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah,
Look what
look
you
at that.
created. Look what you created, man. This is good.
I did. I don't know if it was good or bad. No, it's good. But, I had Kaylin goes, babe, she's hearing me in the background. Like the other day, the Open Championship was on, and I'm outside in the middle of the hot sun. So I randomly got a single, like a tee time as a single for 240. So it was like after the Open was over, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go play golf because I've been like watching the best golf in the world and watching Scotty Scheffler dominate the field, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. It doesn't look that hard. But I'm outside and I'm taking all the, not all, but a piece of the travertine pavers around my pool are getting like wonky. So I pulled them all up and I got the leveling stuff, and I'm tamp. And at the middle of the hot sun, I'm like, I'm still gonna have plenty of energy to play golf later. And I'm just pouring sweat. I'm losing gallons of fluid. And I'm just out there like, and you know how it is, Nick, you're like in the flow. Like I was in flow state of fixing these pavers. And so like, I just kept going, and I was like, oh, one more, like I'll just one more pass, one more leveling. And I'm going and I'm doing it all. And then I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta get ready to go play golf. And I did, and I didn't play well at all because I was completely spent of energy. I was rushing to get to the golf course to settle, and I was still, I was freshened up, but like I continued to sweat in the air conditioning because your body's that dysregulated.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out well. And then I had a tournament yesterday. The day, so like one day I didn't give myself enough break, and I played horribly. It might have been the worst round of golf I ever played, and even like going back to the first time I ever touched a golf club. That's how bad I was snap hooking it, and I don't hit the ball right to left. It's just like I never have. It's either straight or a fade, and sometimes like early on a big slice. Never a draw, never a hook. But I was like snap hooking it into the trees. One hole, I had 3 penalty shots on the same hole, all hitting it left out of bounds.
Nice. What was your score on that hole?
It was a 10 on a par 5.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't like erase that. I don't
Wait, you want me to cut it out of the podcast, or you wanted to? No, I'm definitely keeping that one in.
I do not want that into the ether. I don't want that any record of that. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible, Nick. Terrible.
Well,
to find a positive, I did get to work on my scrambling, which is an important part of golf because I scrambled the whole time. The whole time just scrambled.
Well, anytime I'm ever talking with you, you're always able to come up with a silver lining, dude, which is good, because there is always a silver lining. I feel like a majority of our shows our show could probably be called The Silver Linings. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny, man. Yeah, I know. I like the analogy. I like what you're saying, even in reference to like playing golf. You like get out of your routine, or you are not completely rested or whatever, and everything is impacted, right? I know I find like first I'm in like a slump, probably I would say like a 3, 4, 5, 6 month slump of not enough sleep. And I think we talked about this before, but it was like I was fighting it for a while. I'm like, okay, no, I need to be back. I need to be in bed by like 9, and I need to try and wake up by 4. That'll be a lot healthier for me than going to bed at 1 or 2 and then sleeping till 7. Like I just know that intuitively, my gut's saying that, all those things. But then I have all this work to do. I have like, podcast editing to do, reels to post, emails to, schedule and have send out the next morning, like this massive list that I feel like if I don't spend the time working on it long enough, it'll fall through the cracks. And so even though my gut was saying, hey, slow down, do it differently, I kind of just decided to continue to ignore that, and to not make the hard choice and make the hard shifts to get into a better routine, and just kind of chalk it up to the fact that we have a third baby, and like life is the way that it is right now, and it'll change, which it will, I'm sure. But I think if I don't change, it won't change. Even if I have more time, if I continue to create the habit of being up late and not taking care of myself, then I'm going to continue to feel crappy. Like I have now, I'm just kind of hit a wall where I like started to feel kind of crappy, and I get grumpy, and I'm like pissed at myself for decisions that I'm making, and doing, like not happy with exactly where I'm at, and I'm like, it's because I created this routine that I'm stuck in. It's a habit now that I haven't been willing to pull myself out of, and I know like that's like God saying, hey, right now, like, hey, are you listening now? Like your body's tight, your belly hurts, you're at shortened breath. Are you listening now? Like pay attention, And so anyway, I made my point in saying that, I think, is that a routine is incredibly important. And then also having the guts to change your routine, or change my routine, now that I can understand and feel how it's impacting my body and my life. That's also important too. I got to have the guts to do it, man.
Yeah, it's true. And to your point, it's when we're angry, when I'm angry at myself, um, it's rarely me that deals with that the most. It's the people around me. Like I'm short with my wife or my kids or life. And it's always funny too, Nick, how like I with my clients, I'm perfect, right? But then it's like, in order to, especially when things aren't going well, when I have to like summon the way of being to deal with the people that contribute to my income, and I can keep it together and keep it smooth, maybe not perfect, but just the best version of myself, then all the energy is like spent in that moment to be able to rally. And then, it's like the people I care about most are the most impacted by it. And yeah, like routine is really important. I think we've talked about this before, but like I tend to be like, I'm flexible, and I am, do yoga. No, like, I'm flexible and loose, and in life, and I tend to, be able to go with the flow. Um, I can't remember who said it. A lot of people said it, and I'm saying it again, is that a good structured routine, like morning, evening, like routine, actually creates real freedom in your life. Like when you're able to get the important things done and handled. And I say this now, and even as I'm saying it, I'm like, I bet I'm still learning from that. Like I keep reminding myself, because part of me doesn't want to have a routine. It doesn't feel free. And I know that when I do have a good, solid routine, I feel the most free I ever have. So I don't know why I brought that up.
No, well,
it's just on my heart at the moment.
yeah, I mean, we were talking about that. Like that's why I brought it up. I think is like how I can see my routine is out, and it's impacting me, and that's true. I mean, we could have called this show the Silver Linings. We could have called this the routine is
Right.
don't be mean to the routine,
Routine.
because we
Have
talk about a lot of the
routine.
same stuff over and over. Because
Yeah.
I think that's what's helped us become more mindful people.
Yeah.
I think at some point, people get into this routine. I mean, I can see that and feel that now. Like I've gotten into a routine that if I didn't have the guts and I didn't listen and understand a little bit more, if I wasn't more mindful, I would just keep going down that same path, and that's where, who knows, like the way I've been could lead me to a place of disease already. Like I could have already missed that boat. But I mean, if you just keep going and keep going and keep going and never change, then ultimately I feel like that will lead you to a place of disease and sickness. Like I can feel it in my body. It's just not healthy. And so, and the way that people live nowadays, with the so much emphasis and importance in making money and being successful and your image and all the different things like that, I feel like there's this like added stress to do more work and to do more things. And then that like piles on. And I don't think it's a surprise that there's so much disease.
Right.
Um,
Agreed.
the body is just like taking in all of that energy and there's no way to healthfully process it. So anyway, I kind of
No,
get
but
there.
it's exactly like that's. I mean, one of the reasons I like that this is the Mindful Dudes podcast is like, oh, guys, what's so big about mindfulness? And I talk to clients about this. It's well, mindfulness. It's basically it's also an awareness practice. So just like we're having this conversation, you're aware that your lack of routine in certain ways that you want is impacting your life in a way that you don't want it to. If you didn't have that awareness, you would just keep steamrolling down the path and wonder why everybody's against you or like what's wrong with this. And it's the ability to incorporate mindfulness practices in your life so you can be an aware human and see and acknowledge where the faults are that you are in control of and that you create. Um, and I just, would hope more people, like especially everybody listening to this right now, is to incorporate some mindful practice into your life. I mean, I highly suggest meditation and a yoga practice. And whether it's prayer, any contemplative practice, to put it in to your life, hopefully in a routine, but with no pressure because when you, like, for instance, have a solid meditation practice, in my experience, I am more quickly aware of where I'm going astray or making a mistake or doing something that I know I shouldn't do or doing too much of something or too little of something. It's the awareness percolates into my vision a lot faster. And then I can actually take action before it takes me too far down a road where it's unrecoverable. And yeah, it's like as you and I talk about this stuff, I'm keenly aware that, hey, if we didn't have the practices that we have around mindfulness, then you wouldn't know. And I see so many people who don't know. And they're the sort of victim mentality, all like, why is this happening to me? And what's wrong? Because they're not actually aware of where they are taking themselves off course.
Yeah. They're not aware and and also maybe not willing,
Yeah.
like in some ways
Yes.
not willing to like, you have to let go of something in order to create a new possibility. And I mean, okay, so that's probably where I am in a lot of ways is like, I'm aware. And now, like, am I willing? Like, am I willing to like let go of some things that I really, enjoy doing or I've gotten into a rhythm doing? Am I aware of letting go of like people that, don't serve me or activities that don't serve me? Am I willing to let go of those things so that I can really do what intuitively my body and a higher power is asking me to do in order for me to fulfill my purpose? And so, I mean, that's a whole nother level and a different conversation is like,
Yeah.
how do you actually take the steps to do it? I mean, first thing I'm interested in what you think. The first thing that comes to mind is having a community and like right here, just having a conversation with you around it and knowing what I'm working on, and then having somebody who's aware that I can use as like an accountability partner seems to be like a powerful way to, to have somebody on your side. What other things or tools and techniques do you think would help somebody actually put it into action?
As much as it's a great question, and it's one of those questions that really make you think. Um, well, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but there's a lot of power in vision boards, right? I've never done one. I resist. I resist it because it seems not something a man would do. And that's dumb. It's dumb of me to say that. It's really silly for me to have that sort of belief. But some visual reminder that just reinforces, well, this is what I want. And then I know what it takes to get there, or, A, B, C discipline in my life. And so it's sort of, you take time and a moment to incorporate. I use my calendar. It's sort of like my de facto vision board default thing. So it's always present. And that's one of the silver linings about having a brain injury, is that if I don't write it down on my calendar, it's probably not happening, you know?
Yeah.
And so I use colors and highlights and, all these things to sort of remind me and reinforce things that I need to get done, and the by whens and all those sorts of things. But the idea of consciously setting, this is what I want, and this is what I know it takes to get there, and putting it somewhere where you see it every day, where you're reminded every day to make the better choices. Like, I think that's really, really valuable, and something I've resisted, and probably even as I'm speaking it, will continue to resist, but I hope I will cave. Isn't that crazy? Like, I know I should do it, but I'm still, like you were talking about, still not willing to like clear out a space on a wall and then get a cork board and start cutting out pictures and ideas and concepts, and like putting this together on a board to remind me of what I want to do, even though I know it will probably be effective.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That it is crazy. Okay, so I'll tell you my experience with vision boards is that what you already know is that they work, and it's crazy. And I've had that experience before too, where like I've done a vision board and everything on there has occurred, and it's like, yes, I need to do that again, and then I just don't do it for 4 years again. I'm like, why didn't I just do it? So I'm like, am I afraid of having this stuff happen? Is it maybe because when I put a vision board together, I'm thinking bigger, and bigger is outside my comfort zone?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm glad that you mentioned a vision board, because those things definitely, they work. And I also wonder, like, maybe in regards to vision board and just anything, is that maybe I know that I make it more complicated than it needs to be. So maybe it doesn't need to have a cork board. Maybe it doesn't have to have images cut out of a news or a magazine and glued up on the wall. Maybe it's just something you just grab a marker and a piece of paper and you just start there, or
Great point.
or for like me, like I love what you said about your calendar too. Like maybe, okay, all I got to do is just put the time that I'm going to go to bed in my calendar, have it ring and not stop ringing, like just god dang do it. And then the time I'm going to get up, and I'm like wondering, okay, maybe I need to like schedule out more things that like put meditation on there.
Yeah.
So it like pops up and it's like, oh, I got to meditate, like actually plan it and put it right in front of my face in that way.
Yeah. Especially when we live a life when we're so scheduled. And I know, even like, I'm still I have some like big like events or whatever, but you have a lot on your plate, and I probably don't even know half of it. So yeah, when you're so structured and you have so many moving pieces like that, it's almost like you have to plan it, or it's going to get neglected. Or, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I had this thought come up too when we're talking about vision boards, and this is, I think, and I'm actually doing this for myself right now, is like, I think a lot of times, for me, it's a question of worthiness. Like when I put on a vision board, these grand, this is what I want, and it seems like I'm like, do I deserve that? Like, is it worth? Like, am I worthy enough of this? Am I a good enough person to deserve what I'm trying to create for myself? And it's a cop out too, because I think that takes me out a lot of times for saying yes to sometimes even bigger things. It's like, oh, the time's not right, the timing. And I think it all comes down for me. And even in my yoga teacher training, like what do you have to give up? Like those early on things, it was always worthiness. Like, yeah, I'm just a poor kid from Baltimore. Like, am I worthy of that? And the answer is yes. And then when I do find myself worthy, when I can stay on that train. And there's brief moments because I'm more off that train than I'm on it. But when I do find myself worthy, that life begins to unfold in such better ways, and I take myself off of that train with doubt and fear. And yeah, so that's something that I'm realizing even in talking, that I need to kind of ramp up, because I would give that same advice to anybody else. I would give the same advice to a client, to give the same advice to a really good friend or somebody I care about. And then it's really a challenge for me to take that advice myself.
And what would you say in a sentence is your advice if you're going to give somebody else that advice?
That's a great. That's a tough one, but it's not that it's not worth putting into a sentence, but let me think for a second. I say the best advice I give is to know that God created you to be worthy of anything that you want. And that you have to believe that over the fear and doubt that comes in and derails you.
Funny. I mean, my mic is tethered or I just drop it. No, I got you, man. I love that. Yeah, thank you. I'll take that advice and run with it, man, for sure. I appreciate that.
Amen. Talking to myself too. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, certainly.
And to all people. Unless what you want is like evil or malicious, then you're not worthy. People that are up to good things in the world, because unfortunately the antithesis exists.
Well, so say they are somebody though that is, bad or been up to some bad things. Like maybe that it's that they're maybe they really don't want to be doing that.
Well, yeah,
shit,
then that's an alternate thing. Yes, then they are worthy of change and worthy of completely shifting and leaving that way of being behind and putting on a whole new way of being, to benefit themselves and the people around them.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I hope for that more. I hope for that, I think, more than I hope for anything, considering like the state of the world. Like can't turn on the TV to see all the news, the news of doom, gloom, despair, war, all of it. I wish for that, I think, more than anything else in the world.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, and I think just like on a, on a global scale, when you look at that and like look at all the anger and the hatred in the world and all those things, right? Like whether you're doing something good or bad, where you are right now, there's always an opportunity to shift and change. Like, have you heard that saying before? I'm sure you have, but no matter how far you've gone down the wrong path, you can always turn around and come back.
Yep.
And people living in suburbia and the cushest places and, got all the money and all the resources and all the things that they need and whatnot. Like we're still dealing with shit. They're still dealing with shit. Everybody's dealing with their own little thing. But most people, I don't think, are willing to talk about it or bring it out into the open because there's like underlying fears of shame or doubt, or their image is impacted and whatnot. And so from what my experiences is like harboring that and holding on to it, it just makes it worse. And that's where I think people turn to like bad things. And then then they like start treating people poorly, or they just, themselves first. But I think, people can turn it around, and I hope that people really like hear that and know that they can. And also, I don't know why I'm on this part of it, but just is coming up for me though, is like the communication of what's happening with you is so important. And I think a lot of people don't have anybody to talk to, that they feel comfortable talking to, that's maybe outside of their normal sphere, or somebody that's got a different perspective. Like sometimes there's just doesn't feel like there's anybody to talk to. It could probably feel like a pretty lonely place,
Yeah, and it's tough too, because those people that don't have someone to talk to or bounce the ideas off, then how are they getting pulled in the right direction or having a sounding board? Hopefully they find this podcast, or any outlet where they can attach, and maybe even get in the comments, or something to find some sort of support network. It's social media and the sort of YouTube's, the sort of podcast, the sort of comment based platforms out there it's like such a dichotomy. It could be so powerful for good and righteous sort of attributes, and it can be so negative and down pulling. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that, but like just an observation of how powerful that is. Like, for instance, what we were just talking about, there was an example this weekend or this week before the weekend for the Open Championship. I don't want to make it all about the golf, but like, if I'm watching something, it's this season's probably golf related. And Scotty Scheffler in his press conference was talking about, that he's the number one player in the world, basically wins everything. He won the Open Championship. And what he was saying beforehand is like the victory, the sort of high from winning a tournament, it's like very short lived. And in the grand scheme, he's like, so like it doesn't even really matter. Which is kind of adding insult to injury. Is like this doesn't even matter, but then he decimates the field. You know what I mean? So like, oh great, I care about this more than anything in the world, and this guy just trounced me. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
But like that whole perspective, he was saying what's really important, and this is coming from a multi-millionaire who's been the most successful current tour player, and I mean they're relating him to Tiger Woods and all of his stats and everything.
I saw that.
In fact, they went from the same 1,927 days, I think that, or 1,800, whatever, from winning the first major to fourth, and then Tiger and Scotty hit that in the same exact to the day. And so they're saying all these things about them, and in the comments of these things is like, oh wow, that's so beautiful. And then there's like, easy for you to say, like it's the whole, you get it all. I mean, I think it's wonderful, but I think a lot of these people, they're like, God, he's like 28. He might be 29 years old. He looks like he spends a lot of time in the sun. He looks like he's 40. I don't mean that as an insult to Scotty Scheffler, but he's a young guy. And I'm like, I wonder if anyone's talked to him about like finding a way to serve other people. He's a Christian man. Like, so I know he at least has the concept, but like, are you doing anything? Are you like, and not like, well, because the PGA Tour, for example, gives back to charity, I think more than any other organization, at least for sure any other sporting organization out there. And so it's like, well, because I'm playing, good things are happening. And there's different, I mean, that's great.
Sure.
But there's a different thing in the sense like I, with my two hands and my mouth and my family, my assets are contributing to solving this problem for the world. Like that's a huge, I would be interested in knowing if he's doing anything like that. Because in my experience, if you're searching for meaning, just like the whole Gandhi quote, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. And it's so very true.
Oh my gosh, dude. I agree with that 100%, man. Yep. It's anytime I've ever done anything service based where there's like there's no financial aspect attached to it. I don't have like a expectation of how things are going to go. And I just kind of go in and I'm thinking like about teaching yoga and whatnot at schools and fire departments and things that I've done that. Like I just go in just to be of service and to help, and like knowing what's at stake for the people that I'm working with. I always leave, and I have this vision of me in this spotted dog van, like leaving a school, and the kids are like looking at me somewhat weird because the spotted dog van's all spray painted. Some are waving, some are like, who the hell is this guy, right? And I'm like feeling like high on the planet, man. Like feel so good about what I'm doing. Feel so good about the possibility that something shifted for those people, and so yeah, like service, in service I certainly am able to be more myself. And yeah, and so also, in tying it back to what we're talking to, I think a lot of people probably, if you're getting intuitive hits, a lot of times, at least my intuitive hits are leading me to be in service of people. Like, are the things that I'm doing, are they in service of me? Are they helping me become healthier, more vibrant person? But also like, I'm also very, very aware of in the level of leadership that I'm in and the level of leadership that you're in, that the way that you're taking care of yourself or the way I'm taking care of myself is impacting communities. The way that I treat one person, that impacts the people that they are in contact with. And it all stems from a place of me taking care of myself or not. If I treat that person in a poor way, or like there's some kind of hurt or anger there, then that gets portrayed in the way that they're approaching the world, unless they like really have like a solid way of handling it and dealing with it as well, but it almost feels like unfair to push that on people and then say, hey, good luck processing that shit,
Yeah, right.
like, even as far as like talking to people about like the airplanes, people yesterday, Alaska Airlines got canceled. I told you that. And then for all you listening, Missy McCall from our last podcast, or 2 podcasts ago, she's amazing, but she called it like in one of her reels. She said, oh, you're going to have some airline issues. I told you that, Dan, already, but then I woke up and my airline was canceled. I was like, what? And so anyway, of course, like my first reaction is like, I want my frequent flyer miles back, like, and so I get on the phone and this lady has obviously had a rough day.
Oh yeah.
Alaska Airlines had a lot of planes canceled and she's had a rough day, and she is not happy with the fact that I'm asking her questions about how to get my frequent flyer miles back. So she's been irritated from all the other people that were irritated, and then she's irritated at me. I said, hey, ma'am, in a very calm voice, I said, hey, I understand you've probably had a rough day. I had a rough day too. We're in this together. Right now, this conversation isn't going anywhere. And I think maybe you and it would be best if you could just hand me off to somebody else where I could have a conversation where you're not irritated. And she's like, I'm not irritated. And I was like, no, really, like, I'm not mad at you. I just feel like it would go better if you handed me off to somebody else, And then she handed me off to somebody else, and this other person was a little bit more grounded and fine. And so it worked out great, but I could just see like the energy darts just being shot at me. And I know it wasn't her intention. She didn't wake up in the morning thinking, I'm going to blast this guy down. It calls me at 4:00, but she had all this other stuff going on,
And in the back of her mind, and this is unfortunate, I'm sure she's worried about, there's going to be a survey at the end of this and he's going to light me up and that's going to ding me and I'm going to not get my bonus or not get my kudos or my tchotchke prize or renew my contract or get fired, because there's always that looming. I hate those surveys. I mean, I guess they're good because everybody does them. I guess they get some valuable data. Like everything's data now, data. How much data can you have? Data.
Too much data.
It's too much data. Nick, right now, go back to 1988 and start over. Yes or no?
No.
No? Oh, I'm going back. I mean, wait. I don't mean like you don't have your family. I don't mean that. I mean like the way the world was in 1988.
Oh. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like my experiences and stuff like that.
Like the world is 1988.
I loved it back when I was growing up. I loved how simple it was, dude. Certainly. I mean, I think that's part of the reason we moved to Idaho, man, is that it's less crazy, at least where we are. There's more community involvement.
Yes.
Like 4th of July, they have like, bike parades and we light fireworks up like crazy around here. It's just like, feels like 1988 a little bit.
There you go.
So yeah, I love a lot of those aspects of it, I
was telling my daughter, she's 8, but she's starting to understand the world a little more, actually a lot better than I did when I was 8. I can say that for sure. But I was like, my brother and I used to get on our bikes, like and not like, I'm talking like a 1-gear bike, with a banana seat, and like ride for like 10 miles to go watch a $2 movie. And no one cared. And we were like, not on the like freeway expressway, but we're on like busy 4-lane roads, like on the shoulder, just pedaling our bikes. And no, it was like normal. It was like normal for feral kids to be running around. I miss that. It's not relevant to this conversation at all, but it just came up for me.
But I do think it's relevant in the sense that a lot of people live in fear, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of anger and hatred out there, and there's a lot more you have to kind of be worried about in some way. I kind of take that back. Like I say, there's a lot of fear and anger, and there's a lot you have to be worried about, but you really don't have to be worried about it. You don't have to. A big part of it, and you've mentioned this before, is like, what are you listening to? Who are you listening to? What wolf are you feeding? Feeding the good wolf, the bad wolf? Are you paying attention to what's going on in your community? Or are you more focused on this like everything that's going on, all the bad things in the world. I think we've got an opportunity as leaders and parents, to stay focused on what's good to the most of our ability. But I do think it really depends on how it is that we're treating ourselves, and like, are we really treating ourselves in a way that's good, and are we treating other people that are closest to us in a way that is good, and do we feel good about that to the point where we wake up and we get intuitive hits, like shots from God or shots from the universe that are like, let's do this, and then we go there and we do that, and it makes a bigger difference, more than just like tearing people down.
Amen. And to your point, when we're firing on all our cylinders like that, it continues to produce fruits, even without like necessarily intentional effort. Like when we're good to ourselves, and then thereby we're good to our families, and then thereby we're good to the customer service agent on the phone, and then they handle that interaction and carry that positivity into their interactions. I mean, it's cliche to say the butterfly effect, but it's true. It doesn't change the fact that it's true. And it all starts when we're good to ourselves. And that opens up that pipeline, or tunes us in to the energy of abundance, and for God's will, God's hand in our life. The universe has your back, as they say, or I forgot the author lady. The universe has your back. Insert subtitle here, whatever, however that goes. But yeah, and it starts with being good to yourself.
Yeah, be good to yourself. I think that's what we'll probably call this episode. Be good to yourself. Dan, moving forward from this conversation, as we wrap it up, what are you committed to doing for yourself?
You know what? I am committed. It hurts me. It hurts me, Nick. I'm committed to doing a vision board.
Love it.
No, it's great. It's great. I'm gonna get that out. I'm gonna change it. Gotta find a place to put it, but I'm committed to doing it. By our next podcast, I will have it.
I love that. It's cool, man. All right, good. You're committed to doing that. You know what I'm committed to doing,
Yeah,
dude?
I was going to ask you the same thing. What are you committed to, Nick?
I'm committed to getting to bed by 9:30 every night. Word. That's going to be, and it's going to be hard, I feel like, but maybe only if I...
accountability partner?
Yeah, dude, I do. But you're on Eastern Standard Time, so that would mean you'd have to stay up a lot later to message me, man.
In the morning. We'll figure it out.
No, but I will. I'm going to put it in my calendar and commit to it, and I'll start tonight, and I'll work on it. And we can give each other some updates as we get to our next podcast. But I feel like, and my gut says that's what I need right now, dude. So, heck gotcha, yeah, bro. Right on, dude. Anything else you want to say before we close out, Dan?
Let me give it a mindful thought, like a thoughtful versus like, nah, I'm good. Let me just make sure I'm good. Yeah, my last thought is, kind of said this before, but you were made to be worthy of anything that you want, and allow it to happen, because we're all worthy of greatness in our lives.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, you're amazing, Dan. Thank you so much for joining me again today, bud. I love you too. We've got, I'm going to get a hold of Amber. We promised y'all listening that we'd have Amber Miskovich on here. We had to reschedule her next camping plans. But
it's probably better because she just got back from a cruise, I think. So she would have probably been like in chaotic energy. Everything happens for a reason.
That's right. It sure does. And we're in communication, and I think hopefully it can happen here on the next one that we're scheduled. So I'll reach out to you and let you know. But everybody keep your eyes and ears open for Amber Miskovich. She's an amazing person doing a lot of really great things. We both get along with her really well. The Mindful Dude Show on Play Hard and Love Big Radio is the official podcast of Spotted Dog Yoga and Stand-Up Paddleboard Company based out of Folsom, California, and now also in Idaho, dude. We started doing SUP Yoga in Idaho last week and every Wednesday.
SUP Idaho?
SUP Idaho. The first SUP Idaho class we did, a bald eagle flew over the top of us at 20 yards. It was amazing. It was so good. So that's amazing. And then also make sure that you check out the last couple of podcast episodes that we put out. The last 3 ones were Missy McCall, who's an astrologist and teacher. She's amazing. 2 back, we had Tiffany Snow Huseman, who is a field hockey player for the United States, or she used to be a field hockey player for the United States. She was in the Olympics in Beijing. And that's a really cool episode. And then the most recent one is a one with Shelly Alves, who's the founder of NorCal Supgroms. And she puts on all these amazing clinics through this nonprofit to help educate youth who have not been born on water, and she wants to keep them safe. So those are really good ones as well. Check us out at spottedDogYoga.com. Join us in Costa Rica in April 2026. 26 in Costa Rica, man. Again, this is Nick Clark and Dan Nevins from the Mindful Dude Show on Play Hard and Love Big Radio. Y'all keep it real.
Peace.
Peace. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're like Ric Flair. Woo! You gotta be the man to beat the man.
Gotta be the man to beat the man.
Woo!
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Play hard and love big radio podcast. Inspiration on your station with the show broadcast. You don't want to miss it. You gotta listen. Good vibes and stories for you to go the distance. Bringing inspiration, stories that shine. Helping you connect heart and mind aligned. Live your best life, lift up and soar. Fueled by kumquat energy, we give you more. Play hard and love.